You know, if you enter the hotel, you enter in the story of the Sleeping Beauty just at the moment that the story ends. So it was just 2 minutes before you entered that, you know, the prince kissed the princess, and people start to wake up, look to each other with new eyes, you know, see life, you know, things have changed, and they're in this kind of royal, beautiful, theatrical surrounding, you know, experiencing life in a new way. And it's kind of, you know, without being too kind of thematic or so, it's kind of a way we've tried to enhance the lives of our visitors, to make them excited about little things, you know, to surprise them about combinations, but also to give them a rich quality which perhaps, you know, we haven't seen for a long time.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting because the world has changed so much. You know, it's like, you know, one day we were painting and drawing on paper, and then 10 years later there's no paper? What's that kind of thing? And so what's happened is we've lost a sense of materiality. It's sort of gone, it went poof, it went away, you know? And now, because we've been over-technified, we're looking again for what is real. Like, what can I touch, what can I see, what can I smell, what can I taste? And that's coming back. And it's exciting to be at that forefront right now.
Both of you are inventing something that, from scratch, every time you start something like this, how do you deal with that as a creative person?
You could think something completely different than other people, which, you know, makes you stand completely alone in an area which is kind of most important to you in life, which makes you feel very lonely at some points in your life, and I think that's you know, that's very fearful. But I think it's a place you have to accept to be in. You have to be daring enough to just go for it anyhow. But it's fearful.
With big opportunity comes big risk, and does that change the equation for you?
It doesn't make a difference. It's an emotional risk. I mean, at the end, your client will, you know, measure his own risks, right? Right. So it's not about the risk in a project from a financial point of view. It's about the personal risk. You know, the risk you take to really believe what you think you have come up with. You know, which really, it's sometimes scary.
Yeah.
Because the world sometimes can be completely wrong about ideas, and you can be completely right about things.
You know, like yourself, you met all these great people in your life, right? These people who were like in their 70s or 80s, these real masters of design, like Paul Rand and Iko Tanaka. And when I met these guys, I was like, wow, how do you do that? How do you be like that, you know? And they all died, poof, you know? And I was like, oh, whoa, life no compass anymore. And something about that taught me to be, I guess, not afraid of fear. And my good friend told me once this great thing, how she said her mother on her dying bed just said to her, her last words were, she turned to her and said, fuck fear.
Grandma said that?
Grandma said that. So that image is strong. It'd be a great movie scene. But that's what you have to live like. You have to feel that, you know, like, yeah.
What role does design play in the current economic climate? You have any thoughts?
Oh, totally. I mean, like, the problem with design today is, like, I was in Harvard Square, and in the newspaper machine, I saw something on the side column. It said, you know, school saves, you know, new building in schools saves money by cutting design, expensive, wasteful design out of budget. You know, policymakers claim victory. You know, I'm like, wait a second, you know, you're getting rid of the good stuff, you know? And there's this misconception that design is the kind of the fluff, you know, it's the kind of the extra. But as Bob was saying, it's essential. It's like having like bread and butter without the bread, you know. So that kind of like mentality has to come forward.
No, basically the design has the opportunity to reach people worldwide, to give them new ideas and thoughts, and to bring to them new opportunities. It's been proven more than once that, you know, design can, you know, enhance the profitability and the opportunities of companies tremendously, and I think that didn't change. I mean, it's always so that from a period of challenge, you know, the strong will survive, which is a good thing. And if design is a strength, then this is a very good moment to invest in design.
The problem with creativity is people think it's some kind of like loosey-goosey thing. Like, let's get in a conference room, let's brainstorm. Let's sit on beanbags. Let's have squishy balls. Now we're creative. Do you feel it? And so what he said is missing is that people don't realize that creativity, art, and design are a disciplined approach to something very difficult. So that also has to happen before people acknowledge the fact that this stuff is hard stuff, and that's what makes business better.
Can you measure the return on investment for design?
I think if you want to improve, you have to measure. Otherwise, you never know what you did. And so, of course, I mean, you have to calculate what in your business, in your company, makes a difference as far as you can, of course. And I think a return on investment is as important as all the other key financial figures you want for a company.
Because businesses love ROI. And if you have the magic formula, then they'll want to have design because you can measure it. And I have to say, such a formula probably does exist, but it probably isn't in how the product actually manifests. It might be also linked to the HR measures around how groups that work on creative projects and companies get excited to come to work. That's radical. And I think that that's an example of the kind of measure that's missing in the ROI equation for any kind of design or creative project. You see it in every company I've been to, where they get to work on some kind of design creative project. And they're the happiest campers. They're coming to work actually early and leaving later. And so there's something there that has to be talked about in the ROI design equation.